Unit 10. Example 1. In science, we can never really prove that a theory is true. All we can do in science is use evidence to reject a hypothesis. Experiments never directly prove that a theory is right. All they can do is provide indirect support by rejecting all the other theories until only one likely theory remains. For example, sometimes you hear people say things like, "Evolution is only a theory. Science has never proved it." Well, that's true, but only in the sense that science never proves that any theory is positively true. But the theory of evolution has assembled an enormous amount of convincing data, proving that other competing theories are false. So though it hasn't been proved, overwhelmingly, evolution is the best theory that we have to explain the data we have. Example 2. What distinguishes recycling is not its importance, but rather the ease with which individuals can participate and the visibility of actions taken to promote the common good. You may care passionately about the threat of global warming or the destruction of the rainforests, but you can't have an immediate effect on these problems that is perceptible to yourself or others. The Rainforest Salvation Truck doesn't make weekly pickups, let alone the Clean Air Truck. When a public opinion poll in 1990 asked people what they had done in connection with environmental problems, 80 to 85% answered that they or their households had participated in various aspects of recycling. No other significant steps had been taken by a majority of respondents. Like the drunk looking for his wallet under the lamppost, we may focus on recycling because it is where the immediate tasks are best illuminated. Practice. 1. Christopher Wakeling's What I Did is narrated by a 6-year-old boy. The story opens with the boy sitting on the stairs at home, shoes in his hands, while his father shouts at him for taking so long to come down because they are on their way out to the park. What we discover by being immersed inside the boy's head is that he is taking his time not to annoy his father, but because he is in the process of conducting an intricate scientific experiment about how friction operates to prevent his backside from sliding down the stairs. It made me laugh, but it also gave me an insight into my own 4-year-old son. I suddenly understood that many of his infuriating habits, such as pouring his drinks from one glass into another and back again, often making a huge mess, could well be similar experiments that I should probably encourage rather than quash. The novel helped me recognize that I was not making enough effort to discover what was going on in his mind. Practice. 2. The inescapable conclusion from analyzing thousands of personal best leadership experiences is that everyone has a story to tell. And these stories are much more similar in terms of actions, behaviors, and processes than they are different. The data clearly challenge the myths that leadership is something reserved for only a handful of charismatic men and women. The notion that there are only a few great people who can lead others to greatness is just plain wrong. The truth is, leadership is an identifiable set of skills and abilities that are available to anyone. It is because there are so many leaders, not so few, that extraordinary things get done on a regular basis in organizations, especially in times of great uncertainty. Practice. 3. Children are the greatest agents of cultural change. they are still actively learning, whereas adults tend to be less receptive to new ideas. Peter and Iona Opie, who devoted a lifetime to studying the culture of schoolchildren, showed that rhymes, sayings, and career objectives tend to be transmitted more from child to child than from parent to child. The pool of children can be thought of as the engine room of cultural evolution. Once adults leave the pool, they adhere to the values they learned in childhood. Groups with a high proportion of children are therefore likely to undergo more rapid cultural change. A young population is particularly skillful at solving its problems and seizing the initiative in an ever-changing world. Practice. 4. Too often we notice that a sister, brother, parent, or child is particularly good at showing empathy, is exceedingly honest, is extremely fair, or shows a great deal of integrity, but we don't mention what we are observing out loud. You may have noticed that your children seem far more comfortable with being sarcastic or insulting one another. Giving compliments often feels more awkward than offering constructive criticism. However, when we share the good that we see, we let our children or our partner know that we have recognized their strengths. Also, by acknowledging that each person brings different strengths to the family unit, we can learn from one another and work as a team.